what seems to be a growing trend, armed robbers appear to be on the loose, attacking and making away with people's money. Indeed, there's been a tighter police vigilance out there, but they manage to stage attacks. Well, just 2 weeks ago, some men attacked a woman in her car at the busy car price streets on one hot afternoon. They made away with money in the vehicle whilst their target sustained injuries from gunshots fired during the robbery last Thursday. Two suspected robbers shot two persons at one of the Bufedru areas near Santasi in the Ashanti region. One of the victims later died. On Monday, a police commander in the Sola district of the Savannah region was also robbed by unidentified men. Well, yesterday, 25-year-old mobile money vendor Calvin Ni Pakpo is also battling for his life at Winneba Trauma and Specialist Hospital after three armed robbers shot him and took away the money at Kasoa, Bigman town near the poolside hotel in the Wutusinya East municipality of the central region. Well, eyewitnesses say that the robbers were with pump action guns and had a pistol, of course, to attack him and victim as well. Well, he's doing normal now, according to reports, but we know that we're inching closer and closer to Christmas. So what security measures do we need to take, and how do we need to protect ourselves much more in this festive season? Let me bring in now, of course, Richard Kumado. Richard Kumado is a security analyst that is joining us via Zoom now. Thank you, sir, for your time. Of course, looking at what's happening now, would you say that there's some state of insecurity, first of all, even before we move into measures to take to have personal safety? Well, it appears that we're having some challenges connecting with Richard, but let's listen to the witness in this very latest robbery incident.
Stajo, after take a gate, then I'm going to catch on some home. Intimidate me or them on and me feed them on and me baggage none. And to me baggage none. Me tea two room sell moon shoot soon, and I'm Mijina gate none. But Mijina Okakara, and me be a gate. Me be a gate, me who say, boy, you did not to Namo to suit, Eddie new call. Namoja air soon. And see, Omuya, baby, I bag me bag. Baby, I'm born to you. Honor, scanning into a boy, you're born to now, or Jay scanning a mom. Omuya, for robbers.
I say two. No boy. Tinamusuru.
Yes, so say na the NT and we can say and me nana move catch so be at to poor pocket when I'm catch up say more movie and to be wa na me TB and TPA when and ever share me catch him say a bucket when I'm say ya about to say the CCI and the IT and where two ana and I PA and na the look at that
Tombo ni tuno
Lisa ba
Majiska
scan bag ni na ko
boys no messing
omu 3
okay
they be ya home but CCTV camera no actually
okay
and you catch omu say omu ko inside no and omu ko inside no ya yi achiro ba ko su bo ha CCTV camera omu ko o na no and you catch omu so omu ko kakra.
Well, the eyewitness there indicating how two armed persons attacked the mobile money vendor in the Wutusinya East municipality. I want to bring in our Richard Kumado, security analyst. Richard, I was just asking if indeed it's fair to say now that there's some sort of surge in armed robbery cases.
And normally during the festive season, crime goes up. What is important is that the police will have to be a bit more aggressive. Normally, in crime prevention or in crime psychology, once the police have become reactive and defensive, criminals take predominance on the public space, and they affect a whole lot of people. That is to say that once we are entering into the festive season, some of these things are likely to be recorded, considering our history. So the police will have to act as quickly as possible.
But then, what exactly and what approach would you want the police to adopt, especially as we're going into this festive season?
There has to be specific hotlines which have to be communicated to the general public. There has to be a little bit more presence of the police, particularly in the areas where they consider to be high-intensity crime areas. And number 3, prosecution, arrest, and investigations into issues of crime and crime-related activities will have to be taken seriously. That's the only way they're going to curb this, and the criminals will go back into hiding.
Well, what we see now is people holding arms in the open. The issue about the proliferation of small arms and light weapons comes into the conversation again. Is it the case that we've not done much in checking that? Definitely.
We spoke to the commission several times. They don't have the resources, they don't have the capacity, they don't have the monitoring systems in place to check movement of arms, particularly the unregistered ones. That has been a major challenge for us as a nation. But I think predominantly arms robbery or people using arms in daylight robbery activities is an indication that they have control or they have enough space and they can wage it against the totality or the capacity of the police. And I think once the police begin to get aggressive or progressively aggressive within the public space, some of these activities will go into hiding again.
What's your expectation from the IGP? Well, he's been hard on police reform, but in the wake of these recent attacks, do you feel that would put some blots on his track record, the belief that many have in him to check some of these happenings?
I think he has been a bit more relaxed in recent times. I think he has taken his hands off the wheel, and I think he has taken his legs off the paddle. And he will need to come to the front again. We know the style of Dan Parry, which has been productive over the years. He wants to be in the front line. We want to see him in the front line. We want to see him giving those instructions and following through. We also want to encourage the operational team to work tightly with him within this time. I think there has been some reshuffles that are not going well with him. And I think those are some of the reasons why crime predominantly will want to search and the police will have difficulties in dealing with it in this time. Having said that, it's also important that individuals must take their personal security seriously. There are a lot of shows in town. People won't go to those shows. Remember, your personal security is your personal responsibility. People want to go for shopping. Take your personal security seriously, and let's have a fruitful Christmas.
Since you're talking about the general public, what would you want them to consider as key in terms of their protective measures?
Number 1, educate your household. Let children or let people who are into your household, let them know what to accept and what not to accept. Let know who to accept and who not to accept at the gate. Those going for shows, I said, go with somebody you know. And when you get to those shows, what you eat, what you drink, is your personal responsibility. The long tables we share, be mindful. And on social media, I want to say, live a hygienic social media lifestyle and never accept people who are strangers into your inbox. They could become many more, treacherous people you're allowing without knowing who they are. Then financial transactions, because this is Christmas and a lot of transactions are going to move. Be mindful and be watchful. Mobile money vendors have specific time to take money to the bank. And once you do that, you do not expose a lot of cash to attract criminals to your foot. Mm. When you live in areas where when you get to the mall or you get to places to pay, you can use cards. Let's adapt card services instead of carrying cards. That becomes a little bit more of vulnerability for us. And let's watch what we see. Keep our mouth shut on sensitive information and many of the personal things we share online.
Richard Kumaro, thank you for joining us.